Thanks for joining us. I'm Lila, and this is Teen Kids News. We're proud to announce that this year marks our 20th anniversary. Let's begin with our top story. No question, classical music has long been recognized as one of society's greatest achievements. However, in recent years, it's become increasingly clear that classical music, as well as many other art forms, have a way to go to truly reflect society. Ava tells us about one organization that is working to break down barriers.
When you think of classical music, do images of dead white men wearing wigs come to your mind? It's not your fault. That describes so many of the great masters of music. Mozart, Bach, Beethoven, Schubert, Liszt, Tchaikovsky. I could go on, but you get the point. And it's not just the composers. According to the highly respected League of American Orchestras, most professional symphony orchestras are overwhelmingly white. In fact, African American and Hispanic musicians fill fewer than 5% of the seats in many orchestras. Working to change that is an organization called Sphinx. We have two guests joining us. Headquartered in Detroit, Michigan, is President and Artistic Director Afa Dworkin. And joining from Sacramento, California, is 14-year-old violinist Amma Almeida. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Thank you for having me.
Besides the famous statue near the pyramids in Egypt, the word Sphinx describes a person who is rather mysterious. But there is really no mystery that people of color are underrepresented in classical music. Is there?
Truly no mystery at all. Classical music is certainly devoid of diversity and it lacks representation. And really the core part of what Sphinx has been trying to do for the past 25 years is to give voices to artists who aren't otherwise represented in classical music so that classical music as a field can be as diverse and vibrant as our communities.
And your organization is working to make social change. In fact, your mission statement is transforming lives through the power of diversity in the arts. Tell us about that.
Yes, so we consider ourselves a social justice organization that is achieving its mission through the work in classical music. So in many ways, we're working to make classical music more relevant and more important in the lives of young people and in the lives of families and all of our communities across the country.
Amma, as one of those young people, how has the organization changed your life?
I'm so grateful for the Sphinx Organization. When I won the junior division in 2021, Sphinx Organization has become my family. They've given me so many opportunities to play with orchestras and share my music and my voice with as many people as I possibly can. And I'm so grateful for them for letting me open myself to the audience and to the world.
Now let's pause for a moment so we can share one of your performances with our audience. That was incredible!
Thank you.
Top students like Alma don't just perform with others in Sphinx. Tell us about the opportunities they have to perform with professionals.
Absolutely. Top students in the Sphinx family have the opportunity to collaborate with one another through chamber music. They have a chance to join our touring orchestra and go to 20 to 30 different communities across the country every year, performing and touring. In fact, Amma will be one of our featured soloists in the upcoming tour next season. And then, of course, importantly, they have other career opportunities, joining conservatories and colleges on scholarship with the help of Sphinx. And then onward, of course, as they become young professionals, they'll have other opportunities to perform in front of orchestras and other professional settings, sharing their talent with communities across the country and really the world.
Wow. And Amma, you've also performed for an international audience, haven't you?
Yes, I have. A while back when I played with the Sacramento Youth Symphony, we did a tour in Europe, and I got to play solo with the orchestra in different churches, which was a really great experience.
Sounds wonderful. Afa, For many kids, music lessons may be unaffordable, but that's not an issue for your students, is it?
Absolutely. Music lessons can be expensive and making classical music that much more difficult to be involved in or get involved in. And at Sphinx, we've always believed that all of our educational programs should have an aim or a goal of making music as accessible as possible. So all of our educational programs are free of charge so that they don't place a burden upon a family or a young person. And if a person has an interest in studying, we make it as easy as possible for them to pick up an instrument and get involved, and certainly to continue to develop their talent.
Amma, if Sphinx didn't exist, do you think you would have ever learned to play the violin?
Well, I started the violin at a very young age. My older brother Peter, he started before me, and he didn't really like it. So my parents let him quit, and I kept saying that I wanted to play it. And honestly, without Sphinx, I feel like I wouldn't have had as many doors open for me and as many opportunities as I've had. And I'm so grateful for Sphinx, and they've just done so much for me.
And they've done so much for so many others like you, Amma. Thank you both for speaking with us.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
Thank you as well.
The Sphinx Organization has been helping to transform the lives of young people through the power of diversity for more than 25 years. One of the standout highlights for some of their students was being able to perform at the White House for First Lady Michelle Obama.
Wow! Drop the mic. There are millions of kids like this in this country who do not have the resources to become everything that they could be. But fortunately, these programs are doing the job that sometimes the bigger society fails to do.
Probably the best argument for diversity was made by the historian Thomas Berry. He said, "The greater the diversity, the greater the perfection." And that's true in more than just the arts. For Teen Kids News, I'm Ava.
We've got lots more coming up on Teen Kids News, so keep watching. We'll be right back. This report is brought to you by the National Road Safety Foundation.
A regular feature here on Teen Kids News is showing you how a PSA for the NRSF is created. While the information is real, the stories are usually made up. For example, a dog doesn't bark to warn the driver that he's not paying attention. A tiny person doesn't appear as the voice of reason when it comes to drowsy driving.
Hey, I'm your conscience. You can't lie to me.
And monsters don't get scared by the facts of the dangers of driving after using cannabis. But this year's PSA for FCCLA's Safe Rides, Save Lives contest was very different. I'll explain why in a sec. Let's first meet FCCLA's Executive Director, Sandy Spavone. Tell us about your organization.
Yes, I'd be happy to. FCCLA stands for Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. We are a career and technical student organization that's based in family and consumer sciences in middle schools and high schools all around the country. And the students have the opportunity in FCCLA to find career interests that they'd like to explore a little bit further, develop projects around those, and enter those in for competitions and contests.
And speaking of contests, every year you partner with the NRSF to offer a contest.
We do. We have the privilege of partnering with the National Road Safety Foundation to encourage the students to develop a PSA based on a topic around traffic safety that we give them.
And what's the top prize?
So the top prize that they can win for the PSA is $3,500 for the students that engage in developing the PSA, as well as the opportunity to turn their student-developed PSA into a professional PSA, working right alongside video professionals that have won several awards. So the students love the opportunity to learn about the process, as well as engage their community in this important topic of traffic safety.
Thank you, Sandy. Remember when I said this PSA was different? That's because the storyline about a car crash wasn't made up. It actually happened to one of the FCCLA chapter members, and the heart-stopping photos were real. Using Zoom, the producer and director met some of the winners from the Northeast Vernon County FCCLA chapter.
I'm Avery Miner and I'm a junior. I'm Kirsten Trueblood and I'm a senior.
I'm Brianna Stone and I'm a junior. And I'm Lori Bybee and I'm the advisor of the chapter.
Also on the Zoom were representatives from FCCLA and from the NRSF.
Hi guys, I'm Michelle Anderson. I'm the Director of Operations at the National Road Safety Foundation. And I really want to thank you guys for your submission. It was awesome.
I'm Mary Lou. I am the video producer who will be working with you to take what you've already done, which, as Michelle said, was a great job, and make it so that it is broadcast quality and that it works for all of the message points that the NRSF and FCCLA want to get across.
After going through the basics, a second Zoom was arranged.
In production, what's very important, producers, directors learn that you want to make sure you don't lose the audience's attention.
Called a post-production meeting, the director explained how a script for video is handled.
In a video script, there are two columns. The left-hand column is what you see. The right-hand column is what you hear.
Next was explaining the editing.
This is Rick Levon. He is one of our editors extraordinaire.
What I did was try to come up with an idea to use the whole screen, but also try to separate everything so the words are just as important as the pictures.
Then came the moment of truth.
Kirsten, what was your reaction? What did you like about it? What did you think worked?
I liked it. I liked it a lot better. I enjoyed the sound and like the whole typewriter part. I enjoyed it all.
So Emma, your turn.
I think it flowed a lot better, especially with all of the things he added, like Kirsten said. And I think the pictures do seem more powerful too with the words, how you did it. It makes it a much more powerful video.
We'll show you how their PSA turned out when Teen Kids News continues. We'll be right back. In our previous segment, we gave you a glimpse of how this year's winning PSA on driving safety was made. Now it was time to show it at FCCLA's big annual National Leadership Conference.
Hello, FCCLA. On behalf of the National Road Safety Foundation, I would like to say congratulations to every chapter and individual who participated in the Safe Ride, Save Lives public service announcement contest this year. The National Road Safety Foundation is proud to see so many driving advocates in FCCLA.
After announcing the third and second place winners, Michelle unveiled the grand prize winner.
And for our grand prize winner for 2022 National Safe Ride, Save Lives PSA contest winner is Northeast Vernon County High School, Missouri.
It was really cool. It was a whole experience being able to see myself up on the big TV and let my story being out for everyone to hear and see.
I think the message of our PSA is that kids need to drive safe because it can happen to you. Kirsten never thought that would happen to her, and it can happen to anyone.
I've had these girls since 7th grade, and I've always known that they were very self-motivated and would do wonderful things. And I'm just really proud of them for putting it all together. And I'm proud that Kirsten would let us use her story in it because it really affected our whole school and our community. I'm just over the top for the girls.
And she certainly should be. Her chapter created a very powerful PSA. While this contest is only open to FCCLA chapters, there are lots of other contests sponsored by the NRSF. Check out nrsf.org to find one you can enter. For Teen Kids News, I'm Katarina.
It's time for Make the Grade. Here's Christin with this week's advice.
This week's advice comes from Grace.
My study tip is to use flashcards. I love to use flashcards. I color code my flashcards based on like a different module or a different test that I'm coming up for. And so then at the end of the year, like if I'm getting ready for like a final or something, I can come back and look at all of those different ones and know by my colors which like test I was ready for. So I just kind of know what I'm getting into then.